Matthew chapter 14 focuses on a series of significant events that highlight Jesus' growing fame, the tragic death of John the Baptist, and Jesus' miraculous power in the face of human need and fear. It showcases his compassion, authority, and the disciples' continued journey of faith amid challenges. In verses 1 through 12 we have the death of John the Baptist. King Herod, disturbed by Jesus' growing influence, recalls that John the Baptist had publicly rebuked him for marrying his brother's wife. Herod imprisons John and eventually, after a manipulative request by Herodias' daughter, has John beheaded. John's disciples bury his body and inform Jesus of his death. This story is also in Mark chapter 6. The key message is that John's imprisonment and death serve as a precursor to Jesus' own suffering and highlights the cost of prophetic witness. In verse 13 through 21, Jesus feeds the 5,000. After hearing about John's death, Jesus withdraws to a solitary place. Crowds follow him. Moved with compassion for the people, Jesus heals the sick. As evening comes, the disciples worry about feeding the crowd. Jesus challenges them. They do not need to go away. You give them something to eat. They reply that they only have 5 loaves and 2 fish. Jesus takes the meager provisions, looks up to heaven, gives thanks, breaks the loaves, and gives them to the disciples to distribute. Jesus miraculously feeds 5,000 men, plus women and children, with just 5 loaves and 2 fish. Everyone eats and is satisfied, with leftovers collected afterward. This story is also in Mark chapter 6, Luke chapter 9, and John chapter 6. The key message is that this miracle powerfully demonstrates Jesus' divine power, compassion, and ability to provide abundantly from little. In verses 22 through 33, Jesus walks on water. Jesus sends his disciples ahead by boat while he prays alone. Immediately after feeding the multitude, Jesus makes the disciples get into a boat and go ahead of him to the other side, while he dismisses the crowds. The disciples' boat is far from shore, struggling against strong winds and waves. In the 4th watch of the night, 3 to 6 in the morning, Jesus comes to them, walking on the lake. The disciples are terrified, thinking he is a ghost. Jesus immediately reassures them. Take courage. It is I. Don't be afraid. Peter asks to walk to Jesus on the water, but begins to sink when he doubts. Jesus rescues him and calms the storm. The disciples worship Jesus, recognizing him as the Son of God. This story is also in Mark chapter 6 and John chapter 6. The key message is the importance of trusting in Jesus. In verses 34 through 36, Jesus heals the sick in Gennesaret. When they reach the land of Gennesaret, people bring many sick to Jesus. The people recognize Jesus, send word throughout the region, and bring all their sick to him. They beg only to touch the edge of his cloak, and all who touch him are healed. The key message is the emphasis of Jesus' immense healing power and the faith of the people. There are 4 key themes in Matthew chapter 14. 1. Compassion and provision. Jesus cares deeply for people's physical and spiritual needs. 2. Divine power. The miracles, feeding thousands and walking on water, reveal Jesus' authority over nature and life. 3. Faith and doubt. Peter's experience shows the importance of faith in Jesus, especially during life's storms. 4. Sacrifice and cost. John the Baptist's death reminds us of the cost of proclaiming truth. Matthew 14 is a rich narrative that interweaves the grim reality of political power and human sin with the divine power and compassion of Jesus. It also serves as a lesson for the disciples, illustrating both their human weakness and their growing understanding, along with the need to worship Jesus as the Son of God. With all the miracle the disciples experienced, how is it possible that at times they lacked faith? They had Jesus, but they did not have the Holy Spirit yet. What does this tell us about the importance of the Holy Spirit in our lives today?